Well, now we have some breaking news just into CNN from Somalia. The US says a drone strike has killed 150 Al-Shabab Islamic militants. The military says they pose an immediate threat. Pentagon correspondent Barbara Starr joins us now with the details. Barbara, what are you learning?
Linda, the Pentagon briefed reporters a short time ago with very scant detail about this, other than to say this drone strike took place on Saturday at a place called Raso camp, about 120 miles or so north of Mogadishu, that U.S. drones moved in and struck this camp where they believe 200 Al-Shabab fighters were training. They believe they killed 150 of them at least, and they believe that at this camp, the fighters were in the final stages of preparing an imminent attack, according to the Pentagon, against U.S. troops in Somalia and Amisom fighters. Now, it is well understood that a small number of U.S. troops generally are at the airport in Mogadishu and sometimes travel outside the airport area. We are not clear. We're not being told exactly what the U.S. and Amisom target was. But look, you know, Al-Shabaab, as we have watched, has conducted a number of attacks in recent weeks, bringing down that airliner, another explosion today at the airport. So a lot of concern about Al-Shabaab being on the rise, resurgent again, and being able to stage attacks with a lot of impact. They believe they went, at this camp that they made a real dent in that capability. But I'd say there's a lot of questions. How they use drones and precision missiles on drones to attack a camp with 150 to 200 people remains a bit of a mystery. Drones, of course, have precision weapons. Training camps in Somalia tend to be very dispersed with personnel in several areas. Linda?
And as you said, the military said that these Al-Shabaab militants posed an imminent threat. Going forward, do you think the U.S. will focus more on Al-Shabaab?
Well, what we have consistently been told by the Pentagon is when they have a target, they will go after it. I should add that they say they were observing this target, this camp north of Mogadishu, for several weeks. And what tends to happen is U.S. Special Operations Forces can conduct what they call pattern of life. Keep eyes on a target through satellites, through drones, through other reconnaissance methods. Keep an eyes on a target for several weeks, see how people come and go, make sure there's no civilians there, see what the various areas of the camp might be involved in. So there's a bit of a hint that that's what they were looking at here, this pattern of life for several weeks. If they get that at another target, all indications are they would go after that as well.
And can you give us an indication of how they work with some of the regional forces there to target this terrorist network?
Well, I think it's fair to say that, there's a number of potential sources of intelligence on the ground. The Somalia government, such as it is right now, it has been very welcoming of U.S. assistance to go after these terrorist targets. Al-Shabaab sort of ebbs and flows in terms of its activity, and I think people who dismiss it are finding in the last several weeks it's clearly on a period of upswing. The concern always is, in addition to what misery they inflict on the people in Somalia, that they are able to move across the border into Kenya, conduct attacks there, potentially, and move into other areas of Africa. So this is a place where the U.S. tends to use all the intelligence methods it has to try and find out what the Al-Shabaab is up to, Linda.
Barbara Starr, great to have you with us from Washington, D.C. with details of that breaking news. We will talk to you again soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we will have more analysis on the situation just ahead. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.